Hi there folks, welcome back to another video. This is Don at Affordable Desert Living, and it's a crazy wintry day today, but there's work to be done, so I got to get going and do some more work on my big home. Okay, what we got going on today is I'm going to remove those billboard tarps that some kind friends that live off-grid in the area, you know who you are, gave to me. The billboard tarps, by the way, folks, are not cheap these days, so I really appreciate these. Lumber that gets wet and dry here in our Arizona climate takes no time at all to twist, and all that valuable lumber could have been in jeopardy, but everything looks good. So I'm going to take and peel back some of the billboard tarps because I need to try and re-level this, because essentially I want to put some different shims under there. I put wooden ones under there and I'm just not happy with it. So first we'll take away the wood that's literally screwed in place to hold the tarps down because it's so windy here. We'll peel all that back and then we can start working and leveling things up and replacing the shims with some really good ones. So it seems like this foundation work is never ending, but I've got to do it to the best of my ability, and so a good foundation is so important, which I've mentioned a lot. So I got these super hard plastic shims that are made for this purpose on Amazon, and they have a beveled shape, and that means that you can poke them in like so. We'll stack them up a little bit like that. And I'll just tap them in place there. So that should do the trick and hopefully prevent any squeaking of floors, which is a real no-no. I think it'll work okay. So as you can see, folks, this guy here is over 1/4 of an inch too low, this particular joist. So I'm going to raise them up a little bit. Okay, we're ready to jack this up, and hopefully it'll be jacked up enough to meet the level here where it's supposed to be. To protect the wood, I'm going to put a shim under the jack. Bottle jack head. Not sure why it's not jacking, but maybe it's just taking a while. Gonna have to figure something out. This jack doesn't seem to be doing its thing. I think it's operator error. The little button down below on the jack was loosened, so that meant the hydraulic was not ready to do its thing. There we go. And just as easy as that, it's now level. Okay, now that it's where it's supposed to go, I can put the hurricane ties back in place to hold everything. And of course the ones on the other side. Okay, now that we've got that joist all fastened down where it's supposed to go, and it's now at the right height, we're going to pop the shims in and just tap them until they can't go any further. This is what I really love about these shims. They're serrated here with ridges, so that means you can snap them off, the excess, wherever you think you want to snap it off. So I'll snap it off there, snap that one off there. This one still needs a little bit more of a shim in there. So with that excess piece, because this is a lower part of the beam, and there's still a gap right in here. A little bit broke off, but that's okay. There. That beam now has no gap under there. And again, I hope there's never any floor squeaks, because I'll be really disappointed with myself if there are. So now it was time to get down to the real task at hand and start to replace those wooden shims with these really hard plastic ones that should last the lifetime of the building. So for the first half of the building, I used a product called Easy Shim, and then when I ran out of those, I couldn't get them quickly, so I ordered another type altogether called Tough Boy, or maybe in my case, Tough Old Man. Anyway, those came and I was back to work again. Oh, and the data I read says these are 4 times stronger than wooden shims. So that sold me. So not only did I use wooden shims, I used some metal pieces as well. But I pulled them out after reading some issues, like they attract moisture and things like that. So going with these plastic shims all the way. And I'm sure there's a few construction experts that are going to say, oh, I would have never used those. So let me know in the comments below what you would have used instead. So since the jack wasn't tall enough to reach the underside of the beam, I used some blocking in the form of pieces of cinder block and also some wooden block as well. So now with the building jacked up just a little bit safely, I can remove that wooden shim and replace it with one of the super hard plastic shims. So with the plastic shim in place, I can now lower the building again, and I do that by taking that special little red handle they provide with the jack, fitting it over the little small button down near the base, and rotating it counterclockwise, and of course the jack just lowers, and that's it. So this building had already been leveled, so I wanted to make sure that after replacing the shims with new ones, it was still level, and it was. So at this point, I had left the last half of the building with the billboard tarps still covering the surface, and I found when I jacked up one section of the building, then the building would rise enough so that I could crawl under and do the shim work carefully, underline carefully. I never put my fingers anywhere where they could be trapped, nor did I ever put my body anywhere where I could be trapped. That's important. Again, I'm not letting my fingers get in the way of the space. I don't want the jack to come down on my fingers. Just nudge that under there. Not as easy as it looks. So the crazy wind's just blowing them all out of place, right out from underneath where they're supposed to be. So I got to come up with another plan. Well, this time of year, I know it's windy, it's just the way it is, but man, it sure makes me grumpy. So anyway, I think I might have the issue solved. I think what I'm going to do is duct tape the shims together, and then maybe they won't blow away while I'm trying to put them in place. Yeah, now I gotta crawl underneath and see if the other ones blew out of place. I hope not. Good news! It's only that one that blew apart. The rest are okay. Want to get this job done before it gets dark. Well, good morning. Wow, what a stormy night. The wind howled and it rained, and I didn't sleep a lot, but that's okay because I got a lot of rain. I never checked the weather forecast yesterday. I had no idea it was going to rain, and boy, did it ever. And for those who may think, oh, Arizona, it's all just desert and cactus and severe heat. Not really. It's cold today, and look at all the wonderful snow. Well, I call it wonderful because it's up on the mountains. I'd rather not shovel it. But all kinds of snow up on the Huachucas. And rain here is really sporadic in the winter. You just never know. Although we tend to get a few winter storms, nothing like in monsoon season. But rain means, again, free rainwater for me collected in my tank. So if you're new here, you may not know that I get most of my water from the roof of my little 200 square foot cabin. And there's gutters all around the cabin. And then all the rainwater that collects from the roof goes down that 3-inch PVC pipe. Then it travels 45 feet underground. I dug the trench, and of course now that's all covered over nicely. And then goes up into my 1,200 gallon tank. Right now, my tank is nice and full. So if you can hear this, you can hear the difference between no water and water. I don't mind losing a little sleep when I get water. So thank you very, very much, folks, for joining me here on another video. And some of you mentioned, wow, Don, you're not putting out very many videos these days, but I'm hoping that will improve dramatically as I keep working on this building. And I always appreciate all of your comments. I read every one. And also a big thank you to those folks who sent me gifts. Big shout out to one of my subscribers. Her name is Marisa, who sent me so many wonderful gifts. I just got to give her a shout out. So thank you so much, folks. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Click the notification bell thing. That'll let you know when my next video is coming up. And I look forward to seeing you here on another video.